Cognizant to the needs of our learners, parents, and teachers, the Department of Education provided us with powerful tools for productivity that will allow us to foster critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, communication and collaboration skills to be compassionate, responsible global citizens. Join us and discover new ideas in our series of professional development training program with the ICTS Edtech Unit and Microsoft Education Philippines. Together, we will equip our learners and empower our fellow educators for a dynamic future. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Sulong Edukalidad.
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETUlay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETUlay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICTS Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na Pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETUlay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon, magandang hapon sa lahat. Andito na ulit tayo sa every Thursdays Philippine Politics and Governance for Senior High School. Mulit-muli, ito ang inyong tutor Alan dito sa ating palatuntunan ETUlay online tutorial. So, I'm so glad na umabot tayo ng 5th week. Ngayon, andyan kayo nakikinig at saka kumukomment sa ating mga palatuntunan. Okay? So, good afternoon din sa iyo, Sir Marcos, for being with us this afternoon. And also all teachers, students, guardians, all over the Philippines, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Good afternoon sa inyo. And today is Thursday. Indeed, malapit na Friday. So, dahil dyan ito ay Huwebes, uli, we have to be careful and to be extra careful not only for the pandemic, no, wear mask, social distancing, the whole family, and also with other people. As you look, it's very hot, no? Today it's very sunny, and because it's summer, of course, and we have to protect ourselves against burn, dehydration, or even heat stroke. So we might as well protect our health. Okay, good afternoon sa lahat. Dahil dito, magsisimula tayo sa ating quarter 4, week 5. But of course, you have to focus yourself. You have to get ready with your modules. And of course, you have to comment. Manood lamang kayo kasi we have a replay of this in YouTube. And in fact, live tayo sa YouTube live, of course. At saka you can also replay this video whenever you need to replay it for your own review and of course, your resources in your own class. Okay? So disclaimer lang po, lahat ng mga nagaganap dito, yung ating mga comments, yung ating mga pictures, teaching, contents, is only for classroom use and only for comment and for scholarship purposes and research. And this is not intended to offend anyone of course, to infringe or the infringement of copyright. And of course, the pictures here are images that are copyright free, the courtesy of the Creative Commons unless quoted from other sources. Okay? Magsisimula tayo sa pag-recall natin sa ating lesson last week. Of course, para ma-connect natin kung ano yung lesson natin ngayon. Okay. Sa balik tanaw natin, so a brief review of what we had last time was about the topic on the nature of elections and political parties in the Philippines. We know for a fact that ang Pilipinas is a democratic form of government, no? A presidential multi-party form of government. And the election is one of our vested rights in the embedded in the Constitution, the 1986 Constitution, that everyone has the right to vote, provided that you have to register yourself in either the national elections or the local elections. And of course, there are qualifications for those who will run. And every term for the national elections is about 6 years, and for the local elections is 3 years. So malapit na ulit tayo mag-election. So mabubuhay na naman uli ang ating Philippine politics and governance. Lahat tayo ay boto. Of course, that's our right. And also, hindi mawawala dyan ang mga political parties. Okay? Sa Pilipinas, we have a multi-party system. No? So, ibig sabihin dyan, hindi lang dalawa, kundi madami ang ating partido. Meron pa nga tayong party list system. And, of course, that will represent the percentage of people that should be represented. That's why they are there. Okay? So, that was the balik tanaw. Now, I would like to show you these pictures. This speaks about something, and you may guess what this pictures is all about. Okay, I have placed here. This picture speaks about protection of what? So as you can see, may logo dyan, Philippine Animal Welfare Society. Of course, it's already given you a clue. This picture is all about the protection of tama. Okay, it's already in the picture. It's the protection of animals. So not only pets, but also other forms of animals, no? Domesticated animals, or even those animals that are not pets, no? And all animals are treated fairly, no? Just like we have our rights, the animals also have rights. And there's nobody who will represent them except the people. Because animals is part of our ecosystem, right? Whenever they're affected, we are also affected, human beings. Thank you. Yes, tama po, Sir Marcos. Hi, Ma'am Leah Olna from BDCNHS, Davao City. Ingat kayo dyan sa Davao City kasi mainit at nandiyan din ako nung araw sa Davao City. Nakabisita din ako dyan. May hapon sa inyo, Ma'am. And also, let's look into the next picture and guess what protection it is all about. Greenpeace. Parang pagkain, no? Greenpeace. Ano ba ang pinoprotection? This picture speaks about the protection of what? Greenpeace. Kalimitan, nakikita natin yan sa TV na, they're speaking out something about what? So, Greenpeace is about the protection of yes, forest. Kasi yung forest naman, yan ay green, representing the green, right? And that's also important part of our ecosystem. Okay, but sa pangkalahatan, Greenpeace is about the protection of the global environment. That includes, of course, the forest. So in not only forest, we have the sea, no? The sea environment, if you can see, the protection of the wealth of the sea. particularly yung pagtatapon ng basura, pagtatapon ng oil, langis, and all those waste are being protected by Greenpeace. So, both land and on sea, and even on not necessarily sea, but bodies of water as well. Yes, environment, correct. What about this one? Sige nga, Amnesty International. So this is an international association, an interest group, particularly what protection they are caring about or making about. So Amnesty International is a protection about, okay, and this is all about human rights, of course. Tao din, yung iba, environment, yung isa naman, yung sa Greenpeace is environment, to global environment, yung isa naman, animals, yung sa PAWS. And this one is Amnesty International, is about human rights of people, particularly the ethnic cleansing in some other parts of the world, no? They're looking into the rights of the people. Kasi may tinatawag na ethnic cleansing yung pinapatay, no? Of course, this happens in other underdeveloped countries and even in the developing countries. I'm not going to discuss that because it's not part of our competency. And this one, this will be very related to us. This picture speaks about protection of what? Ano ang pinoproteksyonan ng organisasyon or isang pangkalahatang aktibidad or pangyayari na ito na lahat ng sekta ng mga tao ay nagre-revolution against a certain regime. Yan, nagra-rally sa respect, protection of what? Ano yung pinoproteksyonan nila? Okay? Ito naman ay pinoprotect nila dito ang democracy or demokrasya. Okay? So dyan, democracy kasi yung they wanted to put back the power of the people, free election, and of course the voice of the people must be heard based on the people's choice. Yun ang democracy. And that's why we are enjoying now a democratic form of government sustained through the centuries. And of course, we are now in the 1986 Constitution. And that's it. Okay, thank you. Tama, sir. Now, this one, dahil doon, those are the concept of the rules, and the contributions of the civil societies and the social movements to Philippine democracy. Dahil dyan, that is connected to our most essential learning competency. Explain, okay, you read it with me. Explain the concept, role, and contributions of civil society or societies and social movements to Philippine democracy. Yan. Okay, so, simula tayo ha. Marami na natin nakinig yan. Civil society, ano ba yan? Yung mga civil society, yung mga social movement. Ang ibig sabihin ng civil society, this is the ecosystem that influences social change outside of our family, our market, or government, often referred to us as the space where we act for the common good. And it is also a mediating realm between the individual and the state. So ibig sabihin yan, isang parang ecosystem organization, no? So they have a relationship. However, gaya na sinabi pang isang source na the civil society is what we call the third sector of the society. Meron naman tayo business sector, we have the government, we have the private sector, and this one is between the private and the public sector. However, this is more on the private. Kasi hindi naman sila kaakibat ng gobyerno, they are separate from the government and they are not also necessarily private, but mostly private. Ano ba yan? Hindi sila talaga sa gobyerno because they are separate from the government, but they are the third sector apart also from the private sector. So, yan ang tinatawag na ecosystem. And why is that so? I will show you this one. If you look at this is the diagram of the civil society. If you can see, the civil society is here. No? It is separate from the people, no? Communications, community, sorry, people in the community, and also has a relationship with the government agencies and as well as the business sector. So may interaction. Yes, and also there are concept of the society. So ano yung mga konsepto ng society at saka civil society and social movement? First dyan is the non-profit and voluntary institution. Pag sinabing non-profit, hindi naman sa ibig sabihin wala talagang profit. May mga organization na may profit sila but not intended to the manager or whoever leaders they have. It is the profit is equally shared among its people. Para siyang cooperative, but not necessarily cooperative. No, it is equally shared with the people. It is not being given to the manager, whatever, just like a private sector or a business, right? So it's a non-profit and as well as voluntary institution. Yan lang ba? Hindi. It also respects individual rights because it invokes autonomy. So hindi naman siya kontrolado ng gobyerno o ng isang pribadong sektor na tinatawag nating managerial organization. At saka for common good, sharing a commitment toward the solution of problems in the public realm. So common good, ibig sabihin, para sa lahat, equal sharing. And also, one of the concepts is the rule of law. It goes with that because if you're in for the common good, it has to also respect to the rule of the law of the land in the local society. So this realm, organization or group of, the relationship of this organization is inextricably connected to both the defense of individuals' rights and the pursuit of the common good. And lastly, it's what we call also the concept of philanthropy. So philanthropy, from the word philos and anthropos people, philos meaning to say love. No? Yung mga taong philanthropists, Filipinos are really nature natin ang maging philanthropist na awa tayo, binibigyan natin pagkain. In fact, the common understanding natin ngayon sa pandemic, no, kung sino yung wala, mayroon tayong tinatawag na pantry, no? Yung magbigayan. So philanthropy is the tradition of emphasizing individual action on behalf of the common good. Yan. Ibigay nung sa may kaya doon sa mga tao nangangailangan, mas nangangailangan. Yan ang concept ng civil. Meron pa tayong dalawa kasi I added two. Free expression, of course, freedom, and also tolerance. Tolerance, ibig sabihin, inclusive yan. Lahat ng klase ng tao or sekta ng tao, not siguro klase, but sekta ng tao, mababae, malalaki siya o magkabataan, may representative, mga babae, especially, example, Gabriela, yan. Yan ay sa mga babae. At saka yung sa mga farmers association, yung mga kilusan Mayo Uno. Or yun namang iba, sa sinabi ko kanina sa Greenpeace. So that's the sector of talking about. And also, hindi ko nabanggit, meron din tayong civil society. An example of that is the LGBTQ group. No? Yan, tolerance. So the examples of this, gayang sinabi ko, are the churches and other faith-based organization. Online groups and social media communities. Gaya natin ngayon, no? Pwede din tayo matawag na interest group. Eventually, kasi meron na tayong organization if ever, no? May mga interest na tayo. And kulang na lang dyan siguro pag meron tayong mga objectives. And of course, non-government organizations and other non-profits, no? NGOs, ang daming NGOs. Ayun, no, I used to be connected with an NGO catering for after the Typhoon Haiyan. That was a project based in which I was the community mental health supervisor. yung mga mentally average, no? At saka yung mga mental, neurological, and substance abuse, kinikater namin yan. Ang dami talagang naapektuhan. And you know what? Whenever people are mentally aberrated, it seems that whole life are being affected. Unlike yung nagkasakit tayo physically, no? Yan talaga. And unions and other collective bargaining groups, ayan, sinabi ko kanila, kilusang Mayo Ono, something like that, representing the labor unions, of course, of the Philippines, and the innovators, entrepreneurs, and activists, and even artists, no? Tinatawag silang yung mga artists, innovators, entrepreneurs association. Cooperatives, di ba, sabi ko kanina, yung cooperative can also be a civil society group, and also collectives. Grassroots organization, yung ating mga grassroots, sa mga yung ating kabataan, no? Association ng kabataan, or maybe the Urban Poor Association, something like that. So ang dami pala. Bakit ganon? Dahil yan, we want something to be aired out, to communicate, no, to the government and to other sectors to help. Yan talaga volunteerism. So ano naman tong social movement? Di ba magkapareho lang sila? Mostly pare-pareho sila, kaso lang yung social movement are large. Ibig sabihin mas malaki siya. Often informal groupings of people who came together against power holders around a common cause. So sa kanila may a little bit of para bang malakihan kami and we are against a certain managerial or leadership style where they are against because they think there is what we call inequalities. Dito, inequality, oppression, ano pa dyan? Inequality, oppression, and or unmet social and political, economic, or cultural. Depende sa kanilang agenda. So may mga ganon, no? Ayaw nila ng pamumuno, ayaw nila yung sa mga cultural. Bakit naman kinanta yun? Hindi ganon ang pagkanta ng yan. So may mga ganon. Yung political din naman, meron ganon. And in fact, our government is also giving, kasi this is a perennial concern. Kaya nga mayroong mga representative na nito sa social movement at saka civil society, meron na doon representative sa ating House of Representatives. Yan ang party list. Hindi naman lahat. Kailangan kukuha sila na certain percentage of the voters of the Philippines. Now, social movement also is an organized activity. Okay, large activity that encourages or discourages social change. Hindi naman ibig sabihin negative yung social movement. May sa kabutihan din naman. Unlike yung kanina, sabi ng isang author, it mostly parang negative, pero hindi naman. Meron din nag-encourage. Kaya merong nagrarally na they wanted to pursue that. Yung mga suporta nila sa mga programa ng gobyerno. Those are social movement, large gathering. Ganun naman talaga ang buhay. You cannot please anyone and everybody at all times. So how much change? How much change do you need? Ito ay diagram based on Alberle. No? We have nakikita din dito who is changed. Sino yung i-change natin sa social movement? Lahat ba? Everyone? Or specific individuals? Kung ito naman dito, this column is limited. Dito naman radical. Radical yun. Very abrupt. Gusto change kaagad. We want to change. Ito naman, limitado, malumanay, slow. Dito naman abrupt. So, titingnan natin ito. Okay. So, alternative, we have reformative social movement. And for radical, we have redemptive social movements and revolutionary social movement. Meron tayo nakikita, revolutionary, Dito tayo, sino bang hina-cater dito? Kung sa individual lang tayo, we have two, alternative, social movement, and redemptive. If we want to change everyone, the perspective of people, or to collectively get the attention of people towards a common cause, a larger one, we have reformative social movement and also reformative, revolutionary. So ano ba yan ibig sabihin? So let's go into the specifics. Yung alternative social movement, okay, serve to help certain people to alter their lives. Modify their lives. So meron na ginagawa ito, no? Na kailangan natin i-change ito mga policies dahil this is really affecting us. And a good example of that, for example, yung gusto nila, dapat ibalik na yung death penalty, yung gano'n, no? Yon. At saka yung isa naman, redemptive social movement. Target specific people and seek radical change. Radical. So, radical gusto nila kaagad. No? This one is lower kasi the objective is to help. And this one naman is radical change. So, this is more abrupt. So, these are individuals. Take note, these are for individuals or individual people or person. Now, this one is the group of people, a society. So, isa dyan, i-reform natin. Aim for limited social change. So, ibig sabihin, hindi siya abrupt. But target everyone. Kanina, yung alternative, isang tao, slow din siya, hindi siya abrupt. Small group of people, but this is group of people in the community. Now, let's look into revolutionary. Ito naman revolutionary, this is abrupt. So this is a radical change which seeks to the basic transformation talaga of the entire society. Tingnan ninyo, anong ibig sabihin? And that's the difference between reform and transform. Yung reform, certain yun. Yun din ang policy, binigyan na natin na modification that will alter it or modify it to suit into the needs of the people, just like what our policies are now in the pandemics, no? It's very common here. Now, the problems, the concern, we'll call that, there was a series of hearings, no? Against the LGUs, not against, but to air out the concern of such local government unit here in our place in Cebu, no? Because of that IETF regulation, and they're calling into the modification of the policies as much as possible, hearing the people. Ayan, i-reform natin. Pero itong revolutionary, ito ang pinaka sa lahat. Dahil you have really to change. Hindi yung modify lang. You have to make something new. Yun ang transform, no? Of an entire society. Yan ang nangyari sa EDSA revolution. So, we are no longer under that because we are having a revolution and we change the government radically by the power of the people. So that's comes from the civil society and the social movement. That's the power of the civil society, mind you. I told you that's so powerful as well. No? So while the social movement studies development are developed from attention to conflicts, no, conflicts mostly yung sa social movement, conflict talaga because they want to modify things, no, either radically or abrupt or slowly. Considered as positive movers of society, yes, hindi yan ang negative, positive yan. Dahil yung talagang nasa laylayan, sila yung tinitingala, no, the poorest of the poor, yung mga vulnerable sector of the society. The civil society also studies. The civil society, on the other hand, compared to social movement, studies stress the emergence of autonomous sphere of activities, separated from the state and the market. Meron silang pinagkaiba sa perspective, no? Yung social movement is most focused on conflicts. Mga hindi pagkakaintindihan. Yung sa civil society naman is more on autonomy. Tinitingnan nila. And in this the two helps of studies tend also to present the different conceptions of democracy. Silang dalawa, yung civil society at saka yung social movement, tinitingala talaga nila ang demokrasya. Ito naman ay tenet ng democracy, yung conception. Ito ay mga anak or yung conception is pag-pregnant ng or pag-form ng demokrasya. Yun naman talaga, no? Social movement stresses the virtues of conflict. Meron ding virtue yung conflict. May iba ang ating mga ideology, perspective of reality, but eventually we iron out. And that's why that is the basis nga na we come up with a good policy because meron yung check and balance. For the perspective. So the other one will be cautious about doing something because it seems that there's some other groups is also critiquing or might be a form of police, no? If you're doing right or not. And of course, the civil society, on the other hand, studies focus on virtues of autonomous or autonomy, no? Between the state and the market. Yan, autonomy. So these are the rules of the civil society. Yan. Hold corporations, faith-based, and other organizations accountable for their actions or inactions. So social accountability. Dahil isa silang grupo, accountability nila yung parang I'm accountable to what you are doing because you are representing the movement. So yun, ang social accountability. Okay? Now, transparency, honesty, and make sure everyone from the government officials to local school children follows the same rules as well. So yan ay ginaganap magmula sa paaralan hanggang sa ating pinakamataas na gobyerno. So social accountability. At saka role of civil society, empowering communities. So empowerment. Parang din siyang local government but it is happening apart from the government. So civil society organizations give voice to the disorganized, voiceless segments of society. So it gives voice to the people who wanted something to change because they want to raise awareness of social issues and advocate for change. Empowering local communities to develop new programs. Oh, we need this one. Because of the movement, nagiging stronger sila because there is a representation to meet their own needs. Yan. So, and the third is ensuring good governance. Para din siyang local government. Kaya nga sabi ko sa iyo, third sector talaga siya kasi the civil society works together with the government, striving to develop policy. Kaya nga, may representative talaga sa mga local society groups, civil movement, a society movement, civil society. We need terms to policy making that affects the people. For example, yung sa traffic, yung sa environment. The civil society must also be represented. So, yes. Yung later, sir. You can have also this one. Itatag ko na lang sa doon sa YouTube. Okay, so based on their values, behaviors, and beliefs. Now, very short lang ang ating discussion ngayon. So, this informed synthesis, sa pangkalahatan, ang civil society and social movements have structures like organizations, a well-identified leadership, and ideology. May isang ideolohiya that has been formed because of a need. In order for them to be heard, they must organize. They also have a leader. However, the leader does not constitute as a manager and they are autonomous from the government, also autonomous for the business sector of the private. Because what they have shared, they are a non-profit among them in order to protect its members. So, that's like sabi ko, may pagka-local government din siya, yung kanyang structure, at saka meron di autonomy, and as well as, equal sharing that para din siyang form of cooperative. Okay? And then, civil societies and social movements pledge for change in the established order society. Yun na naman siguro, hindi naman siguro change na abrupt or negative or positive. Negative lang, but can also be positive. So civil society and social movements are there in order to make a form of check and balance, looking into the interests of the people, giving voice to the voiceless in order to establish order of the society. Kasi sila yung nakakita kung ano yung dapat, no? And the interest of the people, nakikita nilang ganito ang palisiya, so dapat natin i-modify ito and nobody can represent them. Maybe they can go to a politician or a representative, but in our form of government, it's not that very fast that we can accommodate. If we are some people who have no clout of authority and then voicing something, nobody will look at you. Sino ba siya? But if you are in the social movement and civil society, no, you can be heard. Oh, this is a legit group, no? Hindi lang sila yung illegitimate group. They have a legit claim. So let's hear them and let's represent them. And they are based on identified ideological choices. Yung choice nila, no? Sabi ko sa inyo, for protection of environment, may civil society for the protection of women, like the Gabriela, meron din sa church organization, no? Religious sector, meron sila tinatawag na tawag doon parang ecumenical oekumene, no? In Greek they call that one oekumene, and also from the sector of the LGBTQ, no, to represent them that they need to be respected as well. Okay? Sige po, salamat. Sir Marcos, I just put na lang siguro doon sa yung mga slides ko. I'll just give it to post this in the YouTube. Particular. Mangyari po. Sige. So, dito na tayo. The last assessment na tayo. Yup or no? Yes or no? Yup means yes. Or no? No. So you just answer yup or no. So, tolerance expresses the values of courtesy, politeness, and respect. Tolerance expresses the values of courtesy, politeness, and respect. Yup or no? So, the answer there is yup. Kasi tolerance eh. So, you value the politeness of everyone. You have to respect people or what they are or on what they believe also. And next, civil society is more likely inclined to private organization rather than the government. I mentioned it a while ago. The answer there is, yeah, they are more likely a private organization, but more likely does not mean they are really private together with the managerial private organization business. No, but they are private institution. No. And social movements is a small group activity that is against social change. Social movement is a small group activity that is against social change. Is it yup or no? So the answer there is no. Kasi sabi ko kanina, social movement is a large gathering of people, organization of people, no? That is against social or maybe in favor of social change. Kasi sabi ko hindi na lang naman negative, but also positive. For EDSA, people power is a type of revolutionary social movement. EDSA, people power is a type of revolutionary social movement. What is your sagot? Okay, tingnan natin. Yeah, it's a kind of a revolutionary social movement. Large gathering of people, check. And are they want radical change of the government? Because they wanted to protect and to uphold democracy back again? Yeah. Okay, so ibig sabihin, that was a social movement. In fact, that is very powerful. And lastly, civil society suppresses awareness of social issues and advocate for change. Nagsusuppress ba na awareness ang civil society? Ang sagot ay no. Hindi siya nagsusuppress. Bagamat the civil society and even the social movement expressed out. That's what we call expressing the needs of the people to represent the people na nandoon sa laylayan. Okay? Kasi laylayan, the underprivileged and the vulnerable population. Okay? So before I go, I will leave you with a reflection. So from John Mackay, a healthy society rests on 3 pillars: business, government, and civil society. Each has a distinct and important role to play. And all 3 need to work together synergistically to create the most value of society. Wow. Dapat sama-sama tayo palagi. We are moving forwards. Hindi tayo mag-blame. Bagkos we need to help each other kung ano yung kakulangan, tutulungan natin to voice what we can share. Nagagawa yon dahil we all care for this society. Okay, so sa susunod ulit, ito si Sir Tutor Alan na nagsasabing, be careful, be safe, and also, okay, love of family and love of God. Take care. Love you. Mwah.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETUlay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETUlay free online tutorial session sa mathematics. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETUlay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippine social media accounts. Paalam!